Di baling ialay namin ang buhay namin.
For Jay Morales, being the presidential photographer is a dream come true. When President Noynoy Aquino met with U.S. President Barack Obama in 2010, only 2 photographers were allowed to take pictures. One was Pete Souza, the official White House photographer. The other one was Jay.
Sinabihan ako ni Pete Souza na sabi niya wag daw ako mag-flash kasi disturbing dun sa pag-uusapan ng dalawa, and then yung mata ni Obama ayaw rin yata niya ng may flash. So sinabi ko sa kanya na okay, parehas tayo kasi yung presidente namin ganun din, ayaw niya na may flash. So, halos parang magkaparehas sila ng pagdating sa kumbaga pa sa kinukunan ng litrato.
Jay used to be a photojournalist. He was recommended by the Friends of the President as an official photographer for the 2007 senatorial campaign. Jay's photographs immediately captured the president's heart.
He really does have an artistic eye. One shot that I remember was in, that was either Araneta or Quezon Memorial Circle. He took a shot from the back, and I mean, I'm not too technical about it, but the lighting, the composition of it was really something else. It was a shot that was taken on the fly as opposed to something that was posed. But the quality of the shot that came afterwards seems to make you think that it was actually posed when it wasn't. So he had the quickness, presence of mind to be able to frame it, take it at that exact instant to deliver that particular effect that was produced by the final print.
Papasalamat ako at nakita ni Presidente yun at isang honor sa akin yun. Masaya ako na yung trabaho ko pala ay napapansin niya. Si Presidente kasi bihira siya pumuri ng isang trabaho.
While Jay admits that he's new to the team, he says that there's something in him that easily earned him the president's acceptance.
Siguro, lagi kasi ako nakangiti eh. Kasi gusto niya kasi ng nakangiti ka para approachable ang tao. Kumbaga, ayaw niya nung nagkatrabaho ka na nakasimangot ka. Gusto niya nagkatrabaho ka na masaya ka, nakangiti ka sa mga tao. Kahit pagod na pagod ka, kailangan mo pa rin ngumiti. Kahit naiinis ka na, ngiti ka pa rin. Kaya yun siguro yung nagustuhan niya sa akin.
June 12th, Philippine Independence Day. To most Filipinos, this is a time to celebrate their freedom from 300 years of Spanish colonial rule. For the president, this is one of the nation's biggest celebrations. But for the Presidential Security Group, this is one of their biggest security operations. Days before the Philippine Independence Day, a high-level closed-door briefing is held. The mission: to protect the president from assassins, terrorists, and other criminal elements. The Presidential Security Group is led by Army Colonel Ramon Mateo Dizon. An intelligence report says terrorist groups would disrupt the ceremonies using explosive devices. The PSG believes that this is the time enemies of the state would most likely strike. At the PSG grounds, security personnel are practicing hand-to-hand combat techniques to disarm assassins. All types of terrorist and assassination scenarios are considered and prepared for. In this scenario, the president is abducted and taken as a prisoner. Dizon checks their anti-tank weapons for the president's convoy.
We'll defend the president to the last breaths of our lives. In PSG, we're taught to protect. No? And when you protect people, you should be willing to take, like they say, take the bullet if it has to come to that. And I have no doubt in my mind that every one of us will protect the president of the republic, no matter who he or she will be.
5 a.m. on the day the security personnel have been preparing for. The presidential convoy leaves the Malacañang grounds. Their destination, the shrine of the first Philippine President, General Emilio Aguinaldo in Kawit, Cavite, where the first Philippine flag was waved in 1898. In front is the President's limousine. Behind it is his close-in security aide, Lito, and his commander, Colonel Dizon. Like the security personnel, Jay, the official photographer, is keeping his eyes open not for hostile forces, but for the best possible pictures of the president. The presidential convoy religiously follows the traffic rules, stopping at traffic lights even if he has the privilege not to do so. There is no siren while the presidential convoy rolls through the streets of Metro Manila. From the viewpoint of security experts, this makes the president an easy target for would-be assassins. When the convoy stops at traffic lights, members of the PSG get ready to move out of their vehicles to secure their charge.
If you look at other heads of state and their convoy, it is seldom that you will see a presidential motorcade or presidential convoy stopping for the red light. But the president has made it known that he did not want to use any sirens or wang-wang, and that he would like to stop for the red lights. So then the PSG has to adjust to this. While we would rather not do it, we would also want to, as much as possible, allow the president or give the president what he wants to do.
At the Aguinaldo Shrine in Cavite, where Philippine independence was proclaimed, Castor, the food tester, is busy. He gives instructions to the food servers. Since they are not allowed to cook inside the more than century-old house, food was catered. And it's up to Castor to determine if it's safe to be eaten by the president. While Castor and company are working, the presidential convoy is fast approaching. Military helicopters, including the presidential helicopter, are providing air cover for the president and his men. Up next, men in charge of the president's safety take their positions as the presidential photographer records history through his lenses. June 12th, Philippine Independence Day. The president's security personnel are putting their lives on the line, while the official photographer tries to document every moment of history. A few minutes later, the presidential convoy arrives.
Malugod naming ipinababatid ang pagdating ng ating Pangulo ng Republika ng Pilipinas, ang kagalang-galang Benigno S. Aquino III.
Lito and Colonel Vison immediately take their positions. Jay takes his shots, and President Noynoy Aquino leads the ceremonies.
Hiwalay at kalag-nakalag sa kapangyarihan ng Espanya. Sinasabi ko po sa inyo ngayon, sa ngalan ng buong Pilipinas, ipinahayag ko ang pagbubukas ng isang bagong yugto sa ating kasaysayan.
The president did not take his breakfast. He just drank water and soda, which was inspected by Castor. In the afternoon, the team of Castor, Colonel Vison, Lito, and Jay returned to Malacañang for the yearly And Independence Day reception, a gathering of foreign dignitaries and the diplomatic corps. Here, Castor takes charge of inspecting the food prepared for the president and his guests. And the president appears delighted. Just another day's work for Colonel Vison, Lito, Castor, and Jay. Whether safeguarding the president or immortalizing his image for future generations, they have successfully fulfilled their commitment to the president and to the Filipino people. Amid the bulletproof walls and windows and a colorful history, Malacañang means much more to the country and to its leaders.
If you were to look at Malacañang, it's been described as serving three functions for the people and for their leaders. It's a prize. It's the physical symbol of the presidency, of power, of ruling the country. It's a pulpit. It is where the country looks for leadership and direction in times of crisis or in times of adversity or in general to find out what is happening with their country. And it's a stage. It's where the great events of state visits, funerals, weddings, conferences takes place. At the same time, it is an object of pride. It's an object of identity. It's a reflection of our being an independent nation, of our being a democratic nation with presidents who are expected to be accessible to the people and who are expected to represent the people in everything that they do.
This is the symbol of we're a country that is developing. We're a country that has quite a huge number of problems that in effect has already driven a lot of our people out of our shores. Malacañang to me again gives you the power to really affect the things that have to be done, to stop the age-old problems that there's no logic for it to be continued.
The structure itself has stood for more than 2 centuries. It has undergone changes in residence and in form far too many times to count. It has withstood wars, dictators, uprising, and calamities both God-given and man-made. But more than the wood and stone and steel that supports it, Malacañang was built on a foundation of majesty, power, and faith. It represents the hopes and dreams of the people.